So we have a situation here where the probability that a person will have bread for breakfast is 30%. So there is a 30% chance that the person is going to have bread for breakfast. Now the probability that the person will have cake for breakfast is 40%. So there is a 40% chance that a person will have cake for breakfast. And the probability that a person will have biscuit, that is not given. So we don't know what is the probability that a person will have biscuit for breakfast. Now, if a person has bread for breakfast, the probability that the person will have fish for lunch is 50%. Now, the person can either have fish or meat for lunch. So there are two options. If a person has cake for breakfast, the probability that person will have fish for lunch is 25%. On the other hand, if the person have a biscuit for breakfast, the probability that a person will have fish for lunch is 10%. So this information is given and we are asked to draw this tree diagram. So the question is, draw the tree diagram. So the structure here, since we have three options, so the basic structure is we have option 1, that is breakfast, option 2, that is cake, and option 3, that is biscuit. So there are three options for breakfast, and then fish or meat. So one is yes, the other one is no, the one is yes, the other one is no. So yes, no. So that is the structure here. So in order to do this, the first thing that we do is we write down the probability of the first three options. So this is bread, this is cake, and this is biscuit. So the probability of bread is 30%, that means 0.3. Probability of cake is 40%, 0.4. Now this one is not given, but we know the total probability has to be 1. So if this is 0.3, this is 0.4, so 0.7. 1 minus 0.7 is going to be 0.3. So that is the probability. We can figure it out. Now regarding lunch, so we have either fish or meat. Yes, no, yes, no. So if fish is 50%, meat is going to be 1 minus 50%, which is also 50%. If the person has cake for breakfast, either fish or meat for lunch. If fish is 25%, meaning 0.25, then meat is 1 minus 0.25, which is 0.75. If the person has biscuit for lunch, then biscuit for breakfast, then for lunch it can either be fish or meat. If fish is 10%, meaning 0.1, then meat is 90%, 0.9. So now the question is, what is the probability that the person is going to have a meat for lunch? So probability of having meat for lunch. So we know what we have over here. There are three ways of having meat. There can be breakfast and meat. This is one permutation. Cake and then meat, that is another permutation. And biscuit and meat. You don't have to do this marking on the tree diagram. I'm just showing this to explain the concept. So there are three permutations over here for having meat for lunch. So what we can have is bread and meat is 0.3. So 0.3 multiplied by 0.5, that is one permutation, plus the next permutation is cake and meat. So 0.4 multiplied by 0.75, or another third permutation is biscuit and meat. So 0.3 multiplied by 0.9, and the probability turns out to be, so the probability is 0.72.